Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. In today's video, I thought that it would be fun to bring you all along with me as I check a few things off of my to-do list today. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls, ages 11 and 14. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. So I had originally filmed an intro to this video in my garden because that's pretty much where I started filming this video, and I don't know if I didn't hit record or if I accidentally deleted it. So this is actually the second time I'm doing an intro for this video, but we're going to start off by working in my garden today a little bit. It is a mess. You guys will see that everything is just kind of overgrown. I need to get my garlic planted. You know, there's just a lot of things that I need to do in my garden. So that is where we're going to get started. And let me just start off by saying, yes, I know I look a mess, and that is because I decided to work in my garden first before I actually got dressed for the day. So I'm looking a little rough out there, but I didn't want to get all dressed up and put a little bit of makeup on and just to go out and dig in the dirt, you know? So we're gonna start off by working in the garden. I also want to get some meal planning for this upcoming week done, because I find that when I meal plan, I save money and a little bit of my sanity because I know exactly what I want to make. Even though I don't exactly stick a day-to-day type of meal planning, I could choose from a list of meals that I know I have everything for the upcoming week. So that's what I'm pretty much going to do. I thought that you can maybe help me decide what labels I want to put on my homemade vanilla that I'm going to be giving away as Christmas gifts this year. I cannot decide. So I'll be showing you some of those, working on some labels for some of my DIY Christmas gifts that I am making. And, you know, I just thought that we'd maybe get a few other things done. Maybe I'll get to binding those unit studies that I plan on using pretty soon. But let's start off by getting in the garden and getting things done. So as you can see, my garden is a disaster. We normally don't let it get this bad. We have just been so busy lately that I have not been able to get out here and clean up. I have been harvesting the fruits and vegetables from out here so they're not getting wasted, but I haven't been pulling anything that needs to be pulled. So that's what I'm focusing on today. This is lettuce that has gone to seed, so we will not eat it. It gets really bitter once that happens. So I'm just removing it. My youngest daughter's out here helping me. And once we clear out some of these boxes and some of the sunflower stalks from our sunflowers, we're going to start planting a few things here and there. So I'm really just removing what needs to be removed, what I know we're no longer going to be harvesting from, just to, you know, kind of get a little bit of a head start as well, because it is a disaster out here. The one, bit of good news is that we did remove the corn that used to be in the middle of my backyard. That's why there's a big section of nothing, just a few squash plants on the ground. That was already removed a while ago, but that was the only thing that we did to help us for fall gardening, or the fall season. So now I have to do most of it today. I'm just taken out some sunflower stalks. We had already harvested the sunflower seeds from these flowers, so these were just kind of left in there and just needed to be taken care of. So now we are just loosening up some soil, and we're going to plant in these boxes like I was saying earlier. We are going to be planting some lettuce. We're going to be planting kale. I believe we ended up planting, 4 or 5 cauliflower plants, a basil plant that was getting a bit too big for the pot that it was in. And what else did we plant? Oh, my daughter wanted to make sure that she was planting some more vegetables for her bearded dragon as well. So again, she was planting kale for him and some collard greens. And then I wanted to make sure, this was the most important thing to me, I wanted to plant my garlic today. I wanted to make sure that I didn't wait any longer. I typically plant my garlic in October, and we're coming up to the end of October, and I really wanted to make sure this got planted. I absolutely love growing my own garlic. It's very simple. It does take a little while, but I ended up planting, around 60 heads of garlic.
So that'll be really convenient if it works out. So now I have moved on to the weekly meal planning. So the first thing I do is I check my freezer, I check my pantry. Yes, I know they're both a mess. And then I hop on Pinterest and see if there's anything, that kind of calls my name. This time I just typed in easy dinner recipes and seen if there was anything that looked good. I did come across a pot pie recipe that I want to use, so that's definitely going on the meal plan for this week. And then I was just pretty much talking to my kids and asking them what sounded good, because I really couldn't find anything. I'm kind of like in a meal slump. I feel like we've been eating a lot of the same meals lately. So what I've come up with whoa, that was weird. What I've come up with for this week's meals is fajitas with rice and beans, burgers and fries. I usually put egg burgers because my oldest daughter likes to throw a fried egg on her hamburgers. Beef burritos with rice and beans, tortellini soup, breakfast for dinner, that pot pie I was talking about, and fish sandwiches and vegetables. Now, I don't just because I wrote fajitas on Monday doesn't mean we'll have fajitas on Monday. I'll mix it up a little bit. I'll just make sure to pull from this list of meals because I know that I'll have everything for these meals on hand. I don't have to think about anything. And this acrylic calendar I keep on my refrigerator so that everybody kind of knows what we're having for the week. So now I have just moved on to prepping some things for the upcoming homeschool week. Now, each week, it looks different. I don't always have to bind, all of these unit studies and work so hard. It just so happens that it's just that time where we're kind of transitioning from, our spooky season into our giving thanks season. So I definitely needed to bind a few unit studies and prep a few things for tomorrow. Technically, I kind of waited to the last minute. We will be starting 2 of these unit studies tomorrow, and I really wanted to get them taken care of, and I wanted to make sure that the books that we wanted to start to read and the activities we wanted to do were kind of mapped out. So that's kind of what you're watching me do, is just prepping some of these items so that it makes our homeschool run smooth. So now I've moved on to mapping out our week, and I like to keep it very, very basic. So this is our morning time page. I kept on forgetting that we were taking Tuesday off of school, so the only thing we'd be doing that morning is World Watch. But I wanted to keep it really light this week because we had a lot kind of going on. So I know that on Monday, my youngest daughter has some classes, like violin classes and things like that. I know on Tuesday, we wanted to take that day off. Friday, I have a doctor's appointment and a meeting that day. So I really needed to make sure that I wasn't being unrealistic in our goals for this upcoming week. And you can kind of see too that I don't really plan a lot. I'll just put a couple of words or lesson numbers that I want to try and get to, and that's it. I don't overly plan in this book. I don't write down every single thing that I think we're going to be doing that day. I like to put in a lesson number, maybe a chapter I want to read, something like that, or just the subject that I want us to do that day. but not much planning. So what I end up doing is once we complete a homeschool day, I'll go back into this planner and I'll just take a few notes on what we actually accomplished and shift anything that I need to. So if we end up having to skip something or we got too busy that day, I could just move it over to another day. Or if we happen to have completed way more than I thought, I could document that as well. So I keep my planning very basic and simple. Okay, so I am still planning and prepping for the upcoming homeschool week here. And my ninth grader and I were supposed to have like a little meeting when she turned in her unit booklet for language arts on Friday, but we did not have time. So that's what I'm doing now. So on Friday, we ended up going to like a Halloween carnival, like a little fall festival. And we also went to like this trick-or-treating event in our city. So we did not have time to have our little meeting. And that's what I'm doing now with her. Every time she completes a unit in her language arts course, we like to have these meetings. So these happen about every 12 to 14 days. And I just take the time to correct her unit booklet, go over anything with her that I maybe think she needs to practice a little more. We talk about whether or not she feels that she needs to focus on anything, if everything's working out, if she has any questions. And also I take the time to quiz her on her flashcards just to make sure that everything is going great. And then I pretty much just plan and prep the next unit so that I could give it to her on the next school day.
So when I'm planning Bella's language arts for her, I don't really like plan it out. I just get the supplies that she'll need for each unit. So I just keep them in a folder. So in here it has her geography and grammar card, not geography and grammar cards, it's her writing, what is this called? Oh my goodness, I can't even think of it. It's her grammar and writing guide. So it has her grammar and writing guide in here. It has the book that she is currently reading for her language arts program. It has any flashcards or memorization that she needs to do. And then it has her current unit study book. This is unit 5, unit study book or unit. I just meant unit. So there's that. And I keep them all in this folder for her so that it's just, all in one spot. And then the only other thing that she needs for this course, it's not even like a requirement, but she has this notebook. And I really, really like this notebook because it has 3 different types of paper in it. I shared it before, but anytime she does any like drawing or anything, tracing, it could all be done in here so she could do her art. And then in the back, it has tracing paper because with this language art, she does a lot of like map work and tracing and things like that. So really like this one. So this is everything completed, or I should say ready to go for the next unit for her. So that is pretty much what I needed to plan for homeschool. So let's jump into looking at the labels that I'm considering for my like DIY, Christmas gifts that I'm going to be making soon.
So now I'm just taking some time on Canva to create some custom labels to go along with the gifts that I'm going to be making and giving out for Christmas for some people. So this year I decided on, what I give out every year, vanilla extract. And I'm also going to be giving out 3 different types of homemade goat's milk soap. And I'm going to be doing a goat milk and honey soap, a peppermint soap, and a lavender soap. So I created a couple of different labels for each item, but now I can't decide which labels I want to use. Some of them are just kind of like straight to the point what the item is, but then some of them have a little bit of a Christmas theme on them. So now I can't decide. Now I can't decide what I want to do. So let me show you them all together. Now underneath each label, there is a title. So like this one says Santa, Vanilla Bean, Snowman. Let me know in the comment section, what are your favorite labels that I have up here for each item? Because honestly, I will probably go with whatever gets the most votes or or whatever you want to say, whichever gets the most comments on it that they like it. Those are probably the labels that I'll be using because I'm so indecisive. So I did not think that I was going to get to this today, and I was really happy that I had a little bit of time in between the activities of today to get a little sewing done. Now, I am no expert when it comes to sewing, And I just know that these pajama pants were still in pretty good condition. As you can see, the hole in these are just really small, really easy to fix. And I did not want to like throw these out. These are still good pants. So it took me like 5 seconds to fix these. Honestly, it probably took me longer to thread the needle than it did to actually sew the hole of these pants. And I do have a sewing machine, but I was not busting out the sewing machine for this. Like, it was too small of a project, so I'm just sewing by hand. Does anybody else still do this? Am I like one of the last people to fix my clothes? Because every time I tell somebody, oh, I'll just patch that or I'll just sew that, they look at me like I'm Ma from Little House on the Prairie. Like, you do that? Yes, I do. I do not like to waste anything really if I can, use it. And these, like I said, these pajama pants aren't that old and they're not worn out. It just, got a small little hole in the side. So I'm really glad that I got to fixing this up. But again, I couldn't see when I was doing this. I was getting so frustrated because the thread that I use too is like a clear thread. So it's really challenging to work with sometimes. So the last thing that I needed to get done today was actually gathering all of the materials that I am going to be needing for tomorrow. So tomorrow I do plan on making a whole bunch of homemade Christmas gifts, and I just like to make sure that I have everything, pre-washed, ready to go, so that when I start these projects, I could just focus on, doing them right instead of running around and trying to gather all of the supplies that I need. So this was pretty much my final task. Before I say goodbye, there was a couple of things that I wanted to say, and that was that at the end of this video, I will put a screenshot of those labels I was showing you earlier so that you can send a comment on your favorite ones. And again, I will definitely take your opinions into consideration before I package up these items. I would love to hear which ones you like most. And I've also been considering doing some kind of like Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, whether it's homeschooling, motherhood, homemaking, anything like that, it could even be about like the upcoming holiday season, any questions you have for me, go ahead and send them on over to homewithsarahjane@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to create some kind of questions and answers video for you. I just think that seems like a lot of fun. So again, just send those on over to my email and I'd be happy to make that video. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.